Chapter 7 of Tractor Ballet Gone Bad as Todd and I are in the ravine. Trapped in the ravine. We studied the walls over the dark, turbulent water at great length before I began to point out my route. Todd provided comment and advisement in return. Absent was any of our usual banter. The situation was far beyond any attempt at levity. Okay, the only really tough part is that protuberance there where it's undercut by the water. I can't see to get any way over the top of it. When I caught myself, I'd almost said, if I get over that, it should be easy going along the side of the pond. You can't see it from here, but it's a whole lot less steep than it is down here. I doubt I'll be able to climb up, and I don't like the looks of that ice. So I'll go down to the end and figure out what to do at that point. If I can't get across the water, I might have to go all the way down to the end of the field, along a ways, then up onto the railroad tracks and out onto the road. I'll come back with an axe and some T-bars and lots of ropes. I'll tie onto the fence up there and you can climb out, I stated. Let's get going then, Todd said. I'm half froze. What? I said, my tone a mixture of astonishment and aggravation. You're not going anywhere. You wait back up there until I come with the rope and stuff. I'm going with you, Todd stated in conviction. Don't be fucking stupid, McIntyre, I barked. You're wet and cold and your gloves are soaked and I'm going with you. What for? Well, maybe if one of us gets in trouble out there, the other could help. Neither of us knew at the time how his words would turn out to be prophetic. Don't be ridiculous, I ain't staying here without you, he replied firmly. You're staying here and that's that. Get it through your numb fucking skull. There's sweet fuck all either of us can do to help the other out there, and you know it. I'm going with you and you can't stop me. What? What are you gonna do? Stop halfway and haul me back? He asked, pointing across the water at the cliff. Todd, no, look. He cut me off. Let's go, he said. There's no point in arguing. I ain't staying here. The fear more than evident on his face. See, you're a fucking idiot, McIntyre. Well, first third of the way, now we'd gone down to the ravine where the bowl of churning waters were in the cliff. This is where we're at. The first third of the way around the bowl, the waters had carved in the cliff. We knew by study it was going to be difficult. Indeed, it was. Working our way across the next third was easier by comparison, as the cliff had a slight angle to our favor. My God, Scott, Todd gasped her a couple of times. I know, me too, I panted in return. I'm sure the naked terror in Todd's voice was matched by my own, and we were both shaken and terrified, and the worst was yet to come. We reached the protuberance the racing waters had undercut, and after a brief rest, I began to kick away at what would be my first foothold. Are you scared? Todd asked, slow and low. Hell yeah, I responded, pawing at the frozen bank. Like, really? Really scared? Who in their fucking mind wouldn't be, I said with all due seriousness. Yeah, but Scott, Todd's voice trailed off. I've never even conceived I could be anywhere near this scared, if that's what you mean. I answered, tentatively testing the foothold. But Scott. Todd's tone pierced through to me, and turning back, I looked back and slightly down at him. Todd was ashen and trembling as he clung to the bank, and I realized I'd not given thought to the fact he'd been wet all this time. During all of our early banter and bravado, he'd been more than half froze, was now in dire trouble. Go, I said, nodding back the way we come. I'll help you back across. Sorry, Scott. Just go, Todd. I cut him off. Go now. To say we were appalled when we returned to what had previously been the first third of our journey would be an understatement. The foot and handholds were all wrong. Going now in the opposite direction? It was inconceivable we could return. We'd trapped ourselves. We were trapped above the deadly waters on the bank, cliff's edge. the ravine's edge. Scott, Todd gasped as he turned towards back to look at me, the anguish naked in his voice. His eyes were red-rimmed as he fought back tears. Stay with me, Todd, I said, my voice shakily. Time's against us now. We hastened, if it could be called that, to where we'd left off, proceeding forward. Todd, can you kick out this hold at my right foot any better for me? He had work boots and I just had rubber boots. I'll just hang here, I continued. I can see around the point. Todd set about industriously pawing away at the foothold as my right leg dangled in space. Hey, I can see around the corner. It looks good. We don't need to kick and paw handholds. Todd acknowledged me with a grunt of affirmation as he continued to apply himself vigorously at the foothold. Yeah, Todd, it looks good, but make that hole good. We'll need it where my right hand is no good. Todd grunted and continued to hammer away. Satisfied as to how I'd move off when Todd was done, I swung my head back around to the right and checked down to check his progress. My hand slid off the inadequate hold I had, my right hand, and straining in wild desperation, the stiff breeze that was trickling down the ravine swung me out over the dark waters like a door in the wind. As I passed the point of no return, I was about to fling myself backwards, hoping against hope I might just, not a chance, somehow land on the slick ice right at the edge where the water boiled under. My eyes must have been closed. I felt Todd's hand latch onto my coat just between my arm and chest. I was swinging back with the same agonizing slowness I'd swung out over the water. My eyes are open. Todd's face passes by inches from me. His eyes are filled with mute horror. I reached for the handhold that had failed me. Take the foothold, Todd panted. I'm whittling at the inadequate hold that had failed me with the wee knife that I'm just now realizing is still in my hand. I come to my senses and check my foot and hands holds. I turn and look back down at Todd. Why did you do that? I asked. One of those I know, you know, I know looks were exchanged in mutual silence. Todd had hesitated. He'd also had the wits to relinquish the foothold he was kicking at and retreat one hold to pull me back. If he'd have slipped and lost any of his points of contact, he'd just saved my life at no certain risk to his own. You've got my knife, he said. Huh? Is that precious to you? I responded, returning to whittling away again at the inadequate handhold. Yep, it was handed down to me by my great, some fucking great thing or another granddaddy McIntyre. Was that a fact? Oh yeah. Davy Crockett himself gave it to him at the Alamo. Oh, what did you do to deserve such an honor? I inquired, still chipping away at the handhold. I can't seem to remember that part, Todd trailed off. Just then, the wee knife gave up the ghost. The blade side rivet let go, one side of the plastic fell off, and the blade folded over. Here, I said, turning and handling the mangled remains of the tiny pocket knife. You best hang on to that, what's left of your treasured family heirloom. $1.19 it adds in and out, he said, tossing it over his shoulder. Oh, nicked it, did you? I'll nick you the whole damn rack if you get us out of here, Scott. Okay, Todd, I'm going over now. Work that foothold while I do some more. You'll need it, because this handhold's on the right's piss poor. When I get around the other side, I'll wait and watch and see if I can point out any holds or whatever. Sounds good. Don't be lollygagging. I'm half froze, he replied. Todd immediately set about working away on the foothold as I started off. It's good, Todd, I said, looking back. I'll stay here and watch if you can't find something, but the holds are all good. Todd stopped working the foothold and looked across at me. You be awful careful, Todd. I won't be able to help you out there. I know, he said with grim determination as he moved off from the relative safety of where he'd been and reached for the first handhold.